Hi everyone, welcome to the webinar and workshop series conducted by TCS in lieu of the upcoming SCS exams happening in February 2026. As you know, my name is Nicholas and I'm the lead tutor and evaluator for SCS at TCS. So let's look at the session plan. First things first, I'm going to share a 10-day plan with you because, most of you reached out and said, although I shared a 15-day study plan, you couldn't stick to it. So focused on those who are yet to start your preparations or those who have already started but face some hiccups halfway through. Therefore, those of you who stopped halfway through can kickstart your preparations once more by sticking to our 10-day plan. And as usual, I will be conducting a masterclass focusing your attention towards a question taken from mock exam 1. And also towards the very end, I'm going to conduct a Q&A session. So let me quickly remind you of the upcoming workshop we have scheduled for you before we move to the 10-day study plan. The final workshop is happening next Saturday, which is the 14th of February at 10 GMT or 10 AM UK, in which I'm going to share last-minute tips with you to make sure that you are capable of walking into the exam with a high level of positivity. Because as per the CIMA examiner, if you believe in yourself, if you're positive before the exam, then definitely you will be positive during your examination, which will ensure that you manage your stresses appropriately. If you manage your stresses, you can easily pass this examination. All right, so having said that, let's try to figure out what you should do in the upcoming 10 days in order to pass this examination. So you need to stick to the same three-step approach, which I've been, harping about throughout the webinar and workshop series. So we have come up with a three-step approach with the intention of mastering each mock exam, which will ensure that you get good marks at your examination. Although you are supposed to stick to this three-step process, since you have simply 10 days at your disposal, you do not have time to practice each mock exam under exam conditions. Instead, when developing this 10-day plan, I'm just asking you guys to attempt mocks 3 and 5 under exam conditions, with the prime intention of practicing each mock under exam conditions, which will give you an understanding of how time management, answering, as well as stress management techniques work. And then you should primarily focus your attention towards learning theory and application by watching the master classes and then taking steps to revise, which is the most important element out of this three-step process. It's essential that you take steps to develop answer plans on your own, try to figure out whether you are in a position to replicate TCS's answer plans or not, and keep developing answer plans over and over until you are satisfied about the fact that you are capable of developing answer plans which are closely aligned with what we have shared at TCS. All right, so this is the three-step approach which you need to adhere to. So when it comes to step number 1, when it comes to practicing, you are not supposed to do anything to gain knowledge or improve your application skills. Simply, the intention or the objective of practicing each mock under exam conditions is to practice your answering, time management, and stress management techniques. So since you do not have time to attempt all mocks under exam conditions, simply focus your attention towards attempting mocks 3 and 5 under exam conditions. So once you have practiced these 3 skills, answering, time management, and stress management, then direct your attention towards learning theory and application. The most effective way to learn application is to watch these master classes which we have developed, which are 100% aligned with the mocks. So when you watch these master classes, you will easily learn how to deal with each conceptual element covered within our mock exams, and also you will learn how to deal with application. And after you have learned your theory and application, then you have to test for yourself as to whether you have gained something via the master classes by developing answer plans with the intention of cementing your knowledge. So if you stick to this process when approaching each mock exam, you will walk into the exam knowing how each conceptual element can be tested at the examination, knowing very well how you should approach application, therefore knowing how to effectively structure your answers with the intention of gaining the most amount of marks in your upcoming examination. So this is the 10-day plan, which I'm going to share with you after this session via WhatsApp as usual. So in the first day, you need to start your preparations by watching the pre-scene analysis videos, because it's essential that you, before you start your mock attempts, it's essential that you get your grips with the internals and externals of your chosen company, Cewmlator. After you're done with it, read through the questions and answer plans of mock number 1, which is going to take 3 hours of your time, and then take steps to redevelop answer plans on your own, which is going to take 1.5 hours of your time. So on the first day, things are a bit hectic, but you can't avoid this given the fact that you just have 10 days at your disposal. So you need to dedicate something like 7.5 hours of study time on the first day. And on the second day, you should direct your attention towards mastering mock number 2. So you do not have time to attempt each mock exam under exam conditions, as I mentioned earlier. So simply watch the masterclasses of mock number 2, which is going to take 3 hours of your time, and then take steps to redevelop answer plans concerning the same mock exam with the intention of solidifying your understanding. And on the third day, you need to attempt mock number 3. I said that you are supposed to attempt just 2 mock exams given the limitedness of time. So attempt mock number 3 under exam conditions via the exam platform, which is going to take 3 hours, just like at your real exam. And then watch masterclasses to learn theory and application. Once you have learned these 2 elements, theory and application, then redevelop answer plans with the intention of cementing your understanding, which is going to take 1.5 hours of your time. And on the 4th day, direct your attention towards mastering mock number 4. You need not attempt the mock, simply watch the master classes and redevelop answer plans. And on the 5th day, focus on attempting mock number 5 via the exam platform. Then learn theory and application by watching master classes and solidify your knowledge by redeveloping answer plans. And on the 6th day, watch the master classes concerning mock number 6 and take steps to redevelop answer plans. And the 7th day should be dedicated towards reading through the questions and answer plans of mock number 7 and redeveloping answer plans on your own. If you stick to this process within a week, if you can start today itself, because you have enough and more time, because I'm not going to take a lot of your time in today's workshop. I'm just going to wind everything within 45 to 60 minutes so that you have time to dedicate towards studies. So if you start right now, by next Sunday, you will be done with all mock exams. You will be done with revision, which will ensure that in the final 2 days leading up to the examination, 2 or 3 days leading up to the examination, you can dedicate enough time to simply read through answer plans of all 7 mock exams. When you do so, it's as if you are going through the entire syllabus one last time. So you need not, try to, remind yourself about conceptual elements, theories, and whatnot. You can cover all these things when you are reading through these answer plans. And at the same time, you are reminding yourself about how to deal with application concerning each question, each conceptual element covered within our mock exams. This is the best type of revision you should do right before walking into the examination. And it's ideal to stop work a day before your exam and start resting, because as I've mentioned throughout this webinar and workshop series, if you are well rested before the exam, you are going to perform really well on the day of the examination. If not, if you are stressed, if you are trying to do so much, if you are not getting your sleep properly, if you didn't eat properly, then you'd be stressed before the exam. And this will impact your performance on the day of the exam, especially concerning section number 3, because when you are attempting section number 3, fatigue sets in. Fatigue leads to stress, and stress leads to brain freeze. And the only way to avoid all these negativities, all these anxieties, is to be calm and composed before the examination. So put in all the hard yards in the first 10 days and take a break before walking into your examination. So I hope you will stick to the study process. If you are yet to start your preparations, you still have time. If you are capable of dedicating, something like 5 to 7 hours on a daily basis until your examination, you can still pass this exam. So already you have booked your examination, so don't give up. Stick to the study plan. If you do so, you are definitely going to cover everything. All conceptual elements. You are you are in a position to significantly improve your application skills. You have enough time to conduct your last minute revision by reading through the answer plans. When you do so, you need not worry about passing this examination. And in terms of how you should approach each day, when it comes to learning, the best tool out there is to watch the master classes. So when it comes to watching the master classes, I prefer if you can watch the master classes early in the morning before walking into office, because your brain is fresh when you wake up early in the morning. So dedicate 3 hours of your time each morning, watch the master classes, and once you have learned these elements, walk into your office, and right after you come home after office, spend 1.5 hours of your time thereby focusing on redeveloping answer plans. So watch the master classes.
Good afternoon, sir.
I'm sorry, someone's mic.
For example, let's say that for my case, let's say because
excuse me, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. We are conducting a Q&A at the very end, so I hope you can ask the same question during the Q&A. Okay. All right. Sorry about that, folks. So what was I talking about? So watch the master classes early in the morning, and then when you have returned from work, focus your attention towards redeveloping answer plans. So that's how you should approach this 10-day strategy. If you feel that you do not have time to attempt mocks 3 and 5 under exam conditions, that's totally fine. Simply, the most important elements are to watch the master classes and redevelop answer plans. So if you feel that you do not have time to attempt at least mocks 3 and 5, that's totally fine. Watch the master classes and take steps to redevelop answer plans. All right, so this is the 10-day strategy. I hope you will stick to this in order to pass the upcoming examination. All right, so having said that, let me quickly tell you what we offer at TCS before we move to the masterclass. So I'm on the SCS page. So if you are yet to create a free user account, click on this button and create one. Once you have created a free account, you'd gain access to our student dashboard. So once you are in the student dashboard, click on My Courses, and in front of SCS Free, you'd see an Access Content button. Click on it, and via the Videos tab, you'd gain access to the recorded versions of the weekly webinars and workshops we conduct. And also under the Study Material tab, you'd gain access to the pre-seen mind map, which is in PDF form. And also, you'd gain access to the answer plan of mock number 1. Under the mocks tab, you'd gain access to the questions and suggested answers of mock number 1. And via the exams tab, you have the opportunity of attempting mock number 1 under exam conditions via our exam platform, which is the exact replica of the Pearson VUE system on which you'd attempt your real examination. So these are the free resources on offer. If you're yet to create a free account, please click on this button and create one. And if you're yet to, if you're interested in investing on our paid content, click on this button and check our sample material before you do so. And if you're yet to join our SCS WhatsApp discussion forum, click on this button and join it. Via this group, you can get all your questions addressed instantaneously. And talking about what we offer 2 packages, the essential course and the premium course. The essential course is intended for those who have completed their OTQs. So since you have completed your OTQs, you have already learned theory. When it comes to preparations, it's simply a matter of improving your application skills. So under the essential course, you'd gain access to the recordings of all weekly webinars and workshops, 6 mock exams with suggested answers, not just 6, you are actually getting access to 7 mock exams with suggested answers. And we have covered all syllabus areas because we have made sure to include 63 subtasks in total within these 7 mock exams. You will gain access to pre-seen analysis videos. Once you watch these 3 videos, you will gain an in-depth understanding of the internals and externals of Cewmlator. And also you'd gain access to the annotated pre-seen industry and financial analysis slides. So we have evaluated the entire pre-seen by coming up with annotations, and we have effectively summarized the entire pre-seen. We have also mentioned, carried out analytics as well, thereby explaining what actually appears, the type of shortcomings and whatnot concerning the internals and externals of Cewmlator. Also, we have indicated probable exam scenarios which can be tested at the exam when developing your mock exams, we have made sure to cover these elements in each of your mocks. And also, we have conducted an industry analysis by focusing your attention towards 4 main parts. In the first part, we have defined the industry. In the second part, we have spoken about the competitive landscape, as well as in the third part, most importantly, we have highlighted industry trends. Based on these industry trends, scenarios will be thrown at you at your real exam. And towards the very end, we have considered 2 real-life companies and explained how or what these 2 real-life companies go through in a typical industry, which is akin to Cewmlators. And also, we have conducted the financial analysis, directing your attention towards each financial statement. We have analyzed everything in depth, yet making sure to keep things simple so that you can easily gain an understanding of what appears within each financial statement. So we have evaluated each financial statement, and at the same time, we have conducted a ratio analysis at the very end. And whilst conducting this ratio analysis, we have also indicated the financial standing of your chosen company against its closest competitor, so that you'd gain a clear understanding of where we stand as a company financially. So these are the resources on offer under the essential course, and you'd also gain access to the top 20 likely issue slides, which indicate the most probable scenarios which can be tested, a case study familiarization kit, which indicates the technicalities behind your exam, access to a tutor managed live chat, and OTQ revision cards. So after attempting each mock, if you feel that you have forgotten a certain conceptual element, simply read through the OTQ revision cards to brush up your knowledge in a jiffy. So the essential course is at £149. We are offering a 50% discount. The essential course used to be £299, but since there's just 10 days until the examination, we have already discounted this by 50%. Therefore, the essential course is priced at just £149. And talking about the premium course, this comes with a pass guarantee. The premium course is intended for those who are coming through the exemption routes and those who have failed the exam previously. So both these sets of students have the same problem. There are gaps in theory knowledge and issues with application. So we have included some additional resources under the premium course with the intention of teaching you theory and application based on the same 7 mock exams. So under the premium course, you'd gain access to the online mock exam platform via which you can attempt each mock under exam conditions, which is the best way to practice your answering, time management, and stress management techniques. You will gain access to answer plans of all mock exams, which is crucial when it comes to revision. You'd also gain access to 15 masterclasses in total. You are going to experience a masterclass in a little while, because the objective of developing these masterclasses is to teach you theory and application focused on each of the mocks we have developed. And you'd also gain tutor feedback on 2 mock exams, namely mocks 3 and 5. And this is the type of feedback on offer at TCS. As you can see, we have evaluated each and every point, each and every paragraph, with the intention of making sure that you understand what your shortcomings are, because the objective of opting for tutor feedback should be to understand your shortcomings. If not, you will repeat the same mistakes at your real examination. So this type of feedback on offer at TCS. And at the very end, we have indicated mark allocations on a subtask by subtask basis. Not just mark allocations, we have also indicated the success rate, which indicates the subtasks in which your performance was substandard. So when you are revising, or when you're supposed to redevelop answer plans, focus on the subtasks which are highlighted in yellow and take steps to redevelop answer plans. All right, so these are the type of feedback on offer at TCS if you opt for the premium course. So once you have access to all these resources, you will pass for sure. Hence, we are offering a pass guarantee focused on the premium course. So if you invest on premium and end up failing, and if you score between 70 to 79 marks and fail, you will gain access to the premium content in your subsequent sitting free of charge. So just because you invest on premium, you are not going to pass. You need to put in all the effort. So I hope you will start your preparations. You have 10 full days at your disposal. We have already shared a study plan with you. I hope you will stick to the study plan. If you do so, you will go through all these resources and complete all activities, which will ensure a pass in your upcoming examination. So the premium course is priced at £599, which can be paid in 2 installments of £299 each, or if you opt to pay in full, you will save £100. If so, the price is just £499. So you can invest on your preferred course by clicking on either of these buttons. All right, so that's what we offer. And as I mentioned earlier, we are offering a 50% discount on the SCS Essential course. The SCS Essential course used to be £299, but it's now £149. So if you want to gain access to the 7 mock exams, now is the time to invest. You have 10 full days. Stick to the study plan which we shared, which will ensure that you have enough time to go through all 7 mock exams and conduct revision based on the same 7 mock examinations. Okay, having said that, I'm going to move to the masterclass. So I'm going to direct your attention towards subtask A of section number 1 of SCS mock number 1. So the time allocation is 60 minutes. You receive the following email from the finance director. The subject goes as diversification and industry pressures. Cewmlator's R&D team is evaluating a proposal to produce EVs with roof-integrated solar panels, enabling trickle charging while parked to extend range and battery life, especially in sun-rich markets. So our R&D team is evaluating a proposal tied to some type of a new innovation. What is this innovation about? We are trying to introduce roof-integrated solar panels within our vehicles. So due to these solar panels, customers who end up investing on our vehicles can charge their vehicles on the run, because especially if these vehicles are being operated in sun-rich environments, then this is going to benefit the users of our vehicles. The premium range would target eco-conscious consumers and fleet buyers seeking lower energy costs. While leveraging Cewmlator's current battery and vehicle expertise, the move requires capital investment for production upgrades and patents. Analysts see this as related diversification with potential long-term benefits. So it's something good when business analysts or financial analysts see this as something positive. It will lead to an increase in shareholder confidence. So they are, saying that we are going to be exposed to long-term benefits such as revenue growth, stronger cash flows, and possible share price gains if solar charging becomes a key differentiator. So if we are successful, this will lead to a competitive edge, and therefore our revenues will grow in the future. Our cash flows will grow. Whenever our cash flows are growing, so would our profitability. When our profits grow, then it leads to an increase in share price. So that's what the analysts are telling us. However, analysts warn of short-term beta increase due to new operational, technological, and strategic risks involved in scaling an unfamiliar product line. So they are also talking about risks tied to this investment as well, because we are trying to do something new, which exposes us to operational, technological, and strategic risks. Okay, because of this, the beta is poised to increase. So we are exposed to both positives and negatives tied to this investment. So let's look at what your requirement is. You are supposed to evaluate the financial analyst's comments. So you have to evaluate about both the positives and negatives regarding Cewmlator's proposal to launch a premium EV range with roof integrated solar charging technology. All right. So I've read through the scenario. That's the first step. After understanding what the scenario is, before you direct your attention towards developing the answer plan, you are supposed to simplify the requirement in your own words in a concise manner, with the prime objective of gaining a clear understanding of what you should cover within your answer. So first things first, as per the CIMA examiner, if you are to develop high quality answers, you need to gain a clear understanding of each requirement. So that is why you are supposed to simplify the requirement in your own words in a concise manner. So the requirement goes as: evaluate the financial analyst's comments regarding Cewmlator's proposal to launch a premium EV range with roof integrated solar charging technology. I've simplified it as FA's comments in terms of investing on solar technology. So simplify the requirement to gain a clear understanding before developing the answer plan. So you are supposed to evaluate FA's comments concerning the investment on solar panel integrated vehicle manufacturing or investing on solar technology. So that's the first step. Then you are supposed to determine how many points you should include within this answer. So the weightage provided is 30%. As you know, each section is dedicated 50 marks in total. So 30% of 50 marks come up to 15 marks in total. And as I've mentioned throughout the webinar and workshop series, each valid point carry 2 or 3 marks. So divide 15 by 3, you get an answer which is 5. Then again, divide 15 by 2, you get an answer which is 7.5. You can round it up to 8. So if you include 5 to 8 valid points, you are going to get full 15 marks. So based on the weightage, you determined mark allocations. Based on the mark allocations, now we have determined how many points you should include within the answer. So if you include 5 to 8 valid points in your answer, you are going to get full marks. So once you have determined these things, then you should direct your attention towards developing the answer plan. So I'm starting my answer by including a main heading, which is in bold and underlined format, which goes as FA's comment, which is, as you can see, in bold and underlined format. So as per the financial analysts, we are pursuing a related diversification. What is a related diversification? A related diversification is a situation where we are manufacturing something or we are introducing something to the market for the first time, but it has something to do with what we do at the moment. So we are a BEV manufacturer and we are trying to tweak one of our products, thereby introducing EVs with roof integrated solar panel chargers. Okay, so that's a related diversification. We are trying to do something new. Yes, that is why we consider this as a diversification, but we are not trying to do something out of the blue. Instead, we are trying to focus on our internal capabilities and build on it. That is what a related diversification is all about. So since we are pursuing a related diversification, we are trying to extend our existing capabilities. So our existing capabilities, thinking about our existing capabilities, we have a battery manufacturing facility in Eastland. This is how you score marks for pre-seen applications. So I'm not bringing in generic info. I'm talking about existing capabilities. And we are thinking about introducing a new product which comes with roof integrated solar panels. So when this is the case, definitely our internal capabilities concerning battery manufacturing comes into play. So that is why I'm mentioning the fact that we have a battery manufacturing plant in Eastland, which is definitely going to be beneficial when pursuing this related diversification. And due to us having this internal capability, it reduces our risk exposure even when we are trying to do something new. So if we are not relying on a third-party battery manufacturer, instead we have our own battery manufacturing arm, so we can easily get the R&D right when it comes to pursuing this related diversification. That's why I'm saying that given our internal capabilities tied to battery manufacturing, our risk exposure reduces significantly. Also, we are trying to target a new set of customers, eco-conscious consumers, as well as fleet operators. So in your pre-seen, there is no mention about fleet operators. So this move opens up a new market for us as per what's highlighted within the unseen. Because the analysts are saying, as per the unseen, the analysts are saying that the premium range would target eco-conscious, not the analysts actually, our R&D team is saying that the premium range would target eco-conscious consumers and fleet buyers seeking lower energy costs. So these are two new markets we are trying to focus on, especially concerning fleet operators. So when we target these two markets, we can create a lucrative niche for ourselves. And also, we will be the first entity in the market to do so, which creates a first mover advantage, which is good for our competitive edge. And as per the analysts are saying, it drives, if we gain the first mover advantage, it will impact our competitiveness in a positive manner, which will drive revenues, which will impact our margins positively, and this will expose us to additional cash flows in the future. And the increased cash flows in particular will support the investments on research and development, as well as capital infusions. So if we are to go down this road, our R&D team will have to finalize a product or design. So we have to spend some money on R&D, and on top of that, when we when we start to manufacture this product range, we'd have to do some capital infusions to change our production capabilities. So when we are poised to receive additional cash flows in the future, we can rest assured about the fact that we are going to recoup the capital investments as well as investments made on research and development. And whenever we are predicting increased cash flows in the future, we can safely assume that we can pay higher dividends, which will lead to an increase in shareholder confidence, especially when we are taking on when we are pursuing something new, we are taking on additional risks. Whenever a company is taking on additional risks, the shareholders expect the company to pay higher dividends in the future. So we need not worry about having to pay higher dividends. Yes, we are taking on additional risks. However, the analysts are saying that we will benefit from additional cash flows in the future. So when additional cash flows are predicted, then we can rest assured that we can easily pay higher dividends in the future. And the analysts are also saying that our revenues are supposed to grow. When our revenue increases, so would our profit. Whenever a company's profitability increases, then the share price would increase as well. So both types of investors who are looking for a dividend and those who are looking to purchase a share and sell it at a higher price, both these sets of shareholders are going to get compensated if we pursue this related diversification. And in terms of branding, we are known as, we are trying to achieve a brand which goes as sustainable, which we are trying to become a sustainability-driven technology leader. And if we achieve this branding, then we will easily attract ESG conscious or the investors who are looking at environmental concerns, who are concerned about safeguarding the environment. We can attract investments from these type of ESG conscious investors as well. So this move is going to be positive, going to create positive, going to impact our brand in a positive manner. And also, due to this positive brand impact, we are going to attract ESG conscious investors as well. However, we have to be concerned about the initial cost of introducing this new product range, which is going to be extremely high. Although the initial investments are going to be extremely high because we have to spend on R&D, we have to change our production capabilities, and we have to market this product as well. And we are doing something new for the first time. So we have to heavily spend a lot of money on marketing. So the initial costs are going to be extremely high. However, in the long run, the costs will decrease, especially when when our products keep selling. Then we will have to increase our production. When we increase our production, we will be exposed to scale-related advantages or economies of scale. And when we are exposed to economies of scale advantages, our costs of production per vehicle will significantly decrease. So in the short run, we have to spend a lot of money. Yes, the costs are going to be extremely high, but in the long run, the costs will significantly decrease. And so these are all the positives as per what's highlighted by the analysts. You are supposed to not just focus on the positives, you are supposed to analyze everything which the analysts have spoken about. So they have spoken about some negative elements as well. They have said that due to this move, the beta is supposed to increase. Why is the beta increasing? Because we are doing something for the first time, which exposes us to some additional risks on top of what we are exposed to at the moment. And when we are taking on additional risks, then these additional risks will be shown or will be depicted via our share price. So when we are doing something riskier, the volatility of our share price increases. So as per our current beta, our volatility is somewhat all right. Our beta is less than 1, which indicates the fact that our shares are less risky compared to the market average. However, when we are taking on additional risks, our share price will be volatile in the future. Why is this the case? Because we are exposed to an increment in systematic risk. Systematic risk, as you know, is focused on market-wide risks and uncertainties. Why am I saying that we are exposed to market-wide risk, given the fact that we are trying to manufacture and introduce to the market which is untested? We are manufacturing a product for the first time and introducing this innovative product to the market. So we are dealing in an untested market. We are manufacturing an untested product category. And therefore, our product will be sensitive to market sentiment on renewable technology. So let's assume a situation where we introduce this product and one of our competitors just 2 or 3 months down the line introduce a better product with better offerings, which offers better which addresses the eco-conscious needs of customers better. If so, our competitiveness will be adversely impacted. So we are taking on risk. There's a lot of uncertainty. Because of that, we are exposed to market-wide risk, or in other terms, in technical terms, we are exposed to systematic risks. So when our systematic risk increases, it impacts our beta. And also, we are exposed to specific risks as well, because we might be exposed to execution challenges. So the market-wide risks are created by the market. If a competitor introduces something better than ours, it is not under our control. However, when you look at the specific risks, these are all the type of risks which are under our control. That does not mean that we are not going to face these issues, because when you are trying to do something new for the first time, there might be hiccups which are created by our internal stakeholders. So the execution challenges in terms of upgrading the production lines, we will have to change the way in which we manufacture our vehicles. We will have to upgrade a certain part of our manufacturing capabilities, and when doing so, we might encounter certain hiccups, because when we are upgrading our production lines, we will have to conduct training and development initiatives mainly focused on our employees, and there might be hiccups in these areas. We will have to upgrade our systems which are utilized within our vehicle manufacturing plant, and this might expose us to system related issues and whatnot. So when we are upgrading the production line in an overall sense, we might face execution challenges. And also we have to secure patents, which is a cumbersome process. If you do not handle it properly, we might be exposed to various different types of risks. And also we have to manage technology integration. As I mentioned earlier, we have to upgrade our existing systems, upgrade our existing manufacturing processes, upgrade our existing robots, because we rely on highly automated manufacturing within our vehicle manufacturing plant. So all these things should be kept track of before we before we start manufacturing these vehicles. And also we have to make sure that we take steps to stimulate sufficient demand for this new product category. So that's why I said that we have to spend a lot of money on marketing as well. So all these type of challenges are there, which exposes us to specific risks. So therefore, since we are exposed to market-wide risks as well as internal risks, our beta is poised to increase in the future. When the beta increases, our share price, the volatility of our share price will be rapid. So what you need to remember is the fact that whenever a company takes on additional risks, the beta will increase. What it means is the fact that our shares are becoming riskier compared to the market average. When this is the case, our shares will be highly volatile. Our share price will be highly volatile. And in the short term, the share price therefore might dip. Why am I saying this? Because shareholders, when they are taking on higher risks, they will seek higher returns. There is, as you know, there is a positive relationship between risk and return. Whenever someone is taking on additional risks, they will ask for additional returns. And if someone is taking on a lower level of risk, then we are supposed to pay lower returns to such an investor. So in this case, our risk exposure is supposed to increase. When this is the case, shareholders, since they have invested on our company, since they are taking on additional risks, they will seek higher returns. And how can we compensate these individuals? By paying higher dividends. When we pay higher dividends, our cost of equity will increase in the future. So when investors know about the fact that the cost of equity is going to increase, it leads to a short-term share price drop. And this impacts short-term valuation multiples and capital raising ability as well, because some investors, they do not like to invest on companies in which the cost of equity or the cost of debt, or in total the cost of capital increases, because some investors are risk averse. So they do not want to invest on a company which is facing an increase in cost of capital, or a company of which the share price has dipped. So we might struggle a bit to raise capital in the future, given the predicted short-term share price drop. That is exactly what's highlighted by the analysts as well. The analysts had said that the beta is going to increase in the future due to this investment. And when the beta increases, our shares become risky. When our shares become risky, we have to pay additional dividends in the future. When this is the case, the cost of equity increases. When the cost of equity increases, the share price might drop in the short term. When this is the case, some investors might think twice before investing on our shares. However, in the long run, our risk exposure is supposed to reduce, because the analysts are saying that although the investments are going to be huge in the short term, in the long run, we are going to face better revenues and better cash flows. So when we are predicting better profitability and cash flows, our risk exposure reduces in the long run. And when our risk exposure reduces, it will impact our share price in a positive manner. So we can assume that in the long run, the share price might increase. And also, we are taking steps to reduce our overall risk exposure. Why am I saying this? Because we are opting for some type of diversification, and we are taking steps to expand our customer base. We are primarily focusing on fleet operators, so which implies the fact that we are taking steps to expand our customer base. And also, we are pursuing a related diversification compared to an unrelated diversification. A related diversification is safer, given the fact that we are utilizing our own internal capabilities. So in the long run, if we are successful with the product launch, our risks will reduce. And when we take steps to diversify, definitely our risk exposure reduces. And when we take steps to expand our customer base, we are paving way for additional revenue streams, and these additional revenue streams will reduce our risk exposure significantly. And also, this related diversification aligns with our existing sustainability goals as well. This aligns with our values. We believe in sustainability, so this new product which we are going to introduce is aligned with our values, our mission, as well as our sustainability goals. And this ensures that our risk exposure reduces in the long run. And also, when this product becomes successful, we are in a position to achieve economies of scale advantages. As I mentioned earlier, in the initial stages, we have to spend a lot of money. Uptake of these vehicles will be less, but when the market gains confidence, customers will keep purchasing in bulk, especially those fleet operators. When this is the case, we can manufacture in bulk. When this happens, we will be exposed to economies of scale advantages, which will significantly reduce the cost of manufacturing each of these vehicles. And this leads to an increase in market value for this new product category. So in the long run, we are exposed to a reduction in risks, as well as we are exposed to additional cash flows and profitability. When this is the case, our share price is supposed to increase in the future. So with the intention of ensuring that our beta comes back to something which is less than 1, and at the same time, with the intention of ensuring that our share price increases in the future, with the intention of ensuring that we are exposed to all the long-run benefits as per what's highlighted by the analysts, we have to take steps to manage each type of risk which we predict. So with that in mind, we have to pilot test these vehicles in key sun-rich regions to see whether they are actually working, whether these vehicles work under real conditions or not. And at the same time, we have to think about maintaining transparent communication with our shareholders, because we are predicting a share price drop, we are predicting an increase in cost of equity, we are predicting an increase in beta. When this is the case, it is essential to keep our shareholders informed throughout the process to make sure that we maintain the confidence levels of shareholders. If not, they will panic and sell our shares. So shareholders panic when they are misinformed. That is why throughout this process, we have to keep our shareholders informed at each and every phase to make sure that we are informing them with the intention of ensuring that they hold on to our shares. And if possible, if we can actually push them to purchase our shares, then the share price will increase in the future. And also, we have to establish clear performance metrics to track progress throughout each phase, because just informing the shareholders won't help. We have to share credible information with them. So with this in mind, we have to introduce performance metrics which are intended to keep track of this project, how successful this project is. And when we share this data in a transparent manner with our shareholders will believe in what we say, because we are not simply saying that the project is successful. Instead, we are sharing metric related information, which will ensure that we'll be exposed to a high level of shareholder confidence. A high level of shareholder confidence will lead to an increase in share price in the future. All right, so that's what we need to focus on if we are to successfully implement this project. So as you can see, I've evaluated all the positives. I've mentioned the fact that by pursuing this related diversification, we are utilizing our existing capabilities, which leads to a reduction in risk exposure. And also we are targeting eco-conscious consumers and fleet operators, opening up new revenue streams, which is going to be good for us. Due to these new revenue streams, our cash flows as well as profitability is going to increase. And this move is aligned with our current branding. And although the initial cost of introducing is going to be high, the costs will decrease in the future if this project becomes successful. And there's a mention about beta increasing. Therefore, I've mentioned about systematic and specific risks, how systematic and unsystematic risks will impact us, therefore our beta. And also I've commented on the share price as well, because the analysts have mentioned that in the short term, the share price might dip. So I've evaluated as to why this happens. And also I've mentioned the fact that in the long run, if we take effective steps, if we become successful, if we take effective steps to manage our risk exposure, then we'd be exposed to better profitability, better revenues, and therefore our share price will increase in the future. And I've also mentioned what we need to do to manage our risk exposure as well, especially given the fact that we are trying to do something new for the first time, which exposes us to various different types of additional risks. Okay, so once you have developed the answer plan, your final step as per our answering technique is to expand the answer plan in paragraph form. So you are supposed to develop a paragraph per answer point. So your final answer should look something like this. So once you have developed the answer plan, do not type the final answer from scratch. Instead, your job is to connect these points by coming up with filler words. Okay, so connect all these points and form a paragraph and move on to the next set of points, connect them using filler words, and then develop the second paragraph. So that's what you're supposed to do when you are supposed to expand your answer plan. Okay, so that's what I wanted to highlight in today's masterclass. I hope you gain a good understanding of how to deal with a question in which you are supposed to evaluate something. So when you're evaluating, I've mentioned both the pros and cons, because the analysts have mentioned about the pros and cons of this investment. So I've covered both these elements in my answer. And if you stick to our study plan, you can pass for sure. That's why we achieved an 84% pass rate last time. So our highest scorer last time, which was Harold, ended up scoring 116. So when the pass mark is just 80, this individual scored 116. Coming through the exemption route, SCS was the first CIMA case study this individual faced, and ended up scoring 116 within just 2.5 weeks. So you can achieve a similar feat if you start right now. That's why throughout this webinar and workshop series, we have shared study plans with you. We shared an 8-week study plan initially. Then we shared a 4-week study plan, a 3-week study plan, a 15-day study plan, and now we have shared a 10-day study plan with you. So you have enough time to start your preparations. If you're still contemplating about what you need to do to pass this exam, simply kickstart your preparations today itself and stick to the study plan. Then you can pass easily. Having said that, I'm moving to the Q&A. So if you have any questions, you can switch on your mic and talk, or drop a message via the chat. You can unmute yourselves now. I think some questions have come through. Would the right answer... Okay, I've answered this. So LM is asking, would we write the answer as you did in point form or as a paragraph? So you're supposed to plan your answer in point form. Keep it simple, keep it short. Then when it comes to expanding, it's simply a matter of connecting all these points, and your final answer should be in paragraph form. So develop a paragraph per main answer point. I hope I addressed your concern. And one of you was going to ask a question when I was explaining the 10-day study plan. Are you there? All right. Nachiket is asking, I struggle in financing options. How can I deal with this? So it's one of the most easiest questions out there, because the answers are quite straightforward. We have actually covered this element in one of our master classes. If I'm not mistaken, we did a masterclass which was primarily focused on your F3 syllabus. So in it, I explained how to deal with this type of a question. So if you direct your attention towards the third section of mock number 1, we have included an exam standard question concerning financing options. So in here, you are supposed to recommend with reasons how we should finance the initial escrow setup and integration costs of $600 million and the annual escrow management fee of $5 million. So this is a typical question which is focused on financing options. So if you look at the answer, I'm not going to explain everything in depth because I've already done so in a previous masterclass or a workshop. So you need to think about, so in this question, there are 2 elements, actually speaking. There is an upfront fee as well as an annual fee. So you should know how to deal with both these different types of costs rather than approaching both these elements as a total. Because if you develop an answer which is focused on how to manage funding concerning $605 million in total, then your answer is inaccurate, given the fact that there is an annual fee which comes up to $5 million, as well as an initial fee setup cost which comes up to 600 million. So In terms of escrow setup and integration, you can go for a long-term loan or you can issue equity. If you go for a long-term loan, you need to think in terms of the gearing ratio. So before this investment, the gearing as per your pre-scene used to be 41%. But after this investment, I've reworked the gearing ratio, which comes up to 44.5%. And based on this, you need to comment about whether a 44.5% gearing is appropriate or not. And also in the same answer, you need to talk about the interest cover, because utilizing the current interest cover when negotiating with banks, you can use it as a tool to convince bankers to when we are opting for long-term funding. So I've utilized it in my answer as well. And then you need to direct your attention towards what we need to do to secure this loan, because this comes up to $3 billion in total in D dollar terms. So you have to predict the type of issues we might face when we are trying to secure this loan, which needs to be addressed before we reach out to our banks if we opt for a long-term loan. And also, when opting for debt financing or when opting for a long-term loan, you need to consider the non-current liabilities, the existing non-current liabilities of your chosen company when conducting your evaluation. And alternatively, I said that you can opt for loan finance or debt funding, or you can opt for an equity finance option. The easiest way to raise equity is to opt for a rights issue. So I've explained, how to exercise a rights issue in this answer as well. And also I said that we are not only dealing with an escrow setup and integration cost, we are dealing with an annual escrow management fee, which comes up to $5 million in total. So this fee, we have to, pay this fee on an annual basis to escrow, the escrow services provider. So when dealing with this annual fee, I've mentioned the fact that this is a recurring expense. Therefore, it is not going to impact our gearing because we are dealing with working capital. This has nothing to do with long-term funding. And you have to see whether our working capital balance can fund this initiative. So I've considered the net current assets. That's what we're supposed to do to see whether we have enough money to fund this initiative. So our net current assets come up to 8.5 billion in D dollar terms, which makes this investment peanuts because we are simply supposed to pay 25 million when we have 8.5 billion dollars as our net current asset figure. And also we have the option of funding this utilizing our working capital, or we can opt for a short-term loan, which again has nothing to do with gearing, and we can easily negotiate by presenting the cash flow forecasts, and we can utilize the interest cover when conducting our negotiations with banks when opting for a short-term loan. All right, so these are the elements which you need to cover in your answer. So it's quite straightforward. It's quite easy compared to a question in which you are supposed to evaluate something. Okay, because if you include the same type of points, if you address the same or if you adhere to the same methodology or philosophy when developing your answer, structuring your answer, definitely you are going to get full marks because this is a foolproof evaluation. So that is why I said that it's essential that you watch masterclasses and go through these answer plans and take steps to redevelop answer plans and see whether on your own you can come up with the same type of points. If so, you can walk into the exam assured that you know how to approach each conceptual element, you know the exact points you should cover, because if you cover all these points, you are going to get full marks concerning a question to do with funding options. I hope I addressed your concern, Nachiket. And Anne is asking a question. When it comes to risks, you mentioned in the pre-scene analysis that risks would first be classified according to the TARA or the TARA framework. And what exactly does that mean? I was looking at answer plans for mock 2 question 1 task 3 regarding reputational risk and legal risk, but I couldn't see any classification of these risks. So in mock 2, so in terms of questions tied to risks, there are questions in which you are supposed to simply identify risks. And in certain questions, you are supposed to come up with mitigatory strategies. So in mock 2, you are simply supposed to identify the risks. When you are identifying the risks, there's no point of categorizing the risks because, sorry, there's a 3-step approach which you need to adhere to when it comes to managing each type of risk. So the first step is to identify our risk exposure. The second step is to evaluate each risk by looking at the impact and probability of recurrence. And in the same stage, you are supposed to categorize the risk. And after you have categorized the risk, then as the third step, you are supposed to come up with mitigatory strategies. So the first step is to identify risks. The second step is to evaluate each risk. And when you are evaluating each risk, you are supposed to categorize each risk as well as per the TARA framework. And the categorization model or the methodology which you're supposed to use is based on identifying the impact and probability of recurrence of each type of risk. Once you have categorized each risk based on the TARA framework, then you are supposed to come up with risk mitigatory strategies. So in mock number 2, the question is tied to risk identification only, which is the first step. So if there's a question tied to risk identification, you are not supposed to evaluate the risk and come up with mitigatory strategies. Okay. So that's one type of a question which can be thrown at you concerning risks. And the second type of question is something in which you are supposed to suggest appropriate mitigatory strategies. That is where the TARA or the TARA framework comes into play. I've already explained how the TARA framework should be utilized in one of the masterclasses which I conducted free of charge. And on top of that, in this masterclass, which was conducted free of charge 2 weeks back, if I'm not mistaken, I directed attention towards one of the questions highlighted within mock number 7. And also, I've covered this element in one of the master classes in the remaining mocks as well. So if you watch all the master classes, you will gain an in-depth understanding of how your knowledge can be tested and therefore how you should structure your answer. So what you need to remember is the fact that there are 2 types of questions. One is only focused on risk identification. Then you need not worry about the TARA framework. And another question, another set of questions will be focused on you having to come up with risk mitigatory strategies. That is where the TARA framework comes into play. I've covered both these angles within the mocks. Therefore, both these angles are covered within our master classes as well. I hope I addressed your concern. And when it comes to risk, you mentioned in the pre-scene analysis that risks would first be classified according to TARA. Okay, reputed legal, but I couldn't see any classification. Yes, that's exactly what I addressed. LM is asking a question. So gearing is only worrying if it's above 50%. Yes, if it goes above 50, then this indicates the fact that a company is taking on too much loans. When this is the case, we are viewed as risky in the eyes of lenders. When lenders are lending money to a risky business, they are going to seek a higher return. So I said that there's a positive relationship between risk and return. So when the lenders are taking on additional risks by lending to us, then they are going to seek higher returns. How can they compensate themselves? They are going to increase the interest rate. So we are going to get money. Yes, we are going to, get money, definitely, given the size of our business and given our history. However, we will have to bear additional finance costs, which will impact our profitability negatively. I hope I addressed your concern. Parvati is asking a question. Ecosystem questions are giving me a big headache. Any advice? For example, how would the introduction of a driverless function impact the ecosystem of Cewmlator? So it depends on an ecosystem related question We have covered this within our mock exams. So an ecosystem related question is totally dependent. The answer is totally dependent on what is highlighted within the unseen. Because in the unseen, the examiner will highlight some type of changes which we are facing at the moment due to us doing something new, or which might, how our internal dynamics might be impacted in a positive or a negative manner due to what we intend to do in the future. So you should consider all this information presented in the unseen when addressing a question to do with business ecosystem. So you can gain a clear understanding of the existing business ecosystem when you look at the vision, mission, and values of your chosen company. That's the easiest way to gain an understanding of what we believe in, what we intend to achieve in the future, how we deal with stakeholders and whatnot. So look at the vision, mission, and values. It gives you a clear indication of what we believe in. Look at the sustainability report as well, because this gives you an indication of how we view sustainability. And I don't know whether you have access to our annotated pre-scene, because there are certain shortcomings concerning the way in which we approach sustainability. I've highlighted these shortcomings within our annotated pre-scene. Therefore, I've included them within the pre-scene analysis videos as well. That's something else. So by looking at these things, you can gain a clear understanding of what we believe in our current ecosystem. And then concerning what's highlighted within the unseen, fresh information which is highlighted within the unseen, you can easily see whether there is some type of a contravention about the stuff which we believe in at the moment and what we intend to achieve in the future. So these are the elements which you need to address in your answer. So this type of a question is heavily testing your application skills. So we have included a mock exam. One of the questions within our mock exams, which is tied to testing your knowledge about business ecosystems. This is an area in which most students end up failing. I have to be open with you. Most students, out of the pillars which you need to pass or to master rather, in order to pass this exam comfortably, one is business ecosystems, an area which most students fail. We have included an exam standard question within one of our mock exams. So since the essential course is at a heavy discount, you can invest on it and gain access to this mock exam. Then you'd realize how you should structure your answer, because as I mentioned earlier, there's no straightforward, I cannot give you a straightforward answer. It depends on the type of information highlighted within the answer. Okay, I hope I addressed your concern. Anne is asking a question in relation to internal controls. I refer to mock 2, question 2, task 3. Cewmlator should update company-wide product safety policy. What is this policy? Who creates it? And is it specific to each car range or the company cars in general? Yes. If you look at our pre-scene, give me a second, please. So I've said that there's a certain I've mentioned several different shortcomings actually. One shortcoming is the fact that we have not considered safety and reliability. And it is essential that we integrate safety and reliability within our manufacturing plants. And at the same time, we have to ensure the safety and reliability of our vehicles when they are driven by our customers. Okay, so there is no mention about this element, safety and reliability, within our current mission, vision, and values, which is the major shortcoming. So that is why I've included this question, because definitely when we are a BEV manufacturer, we have to think in terms of ensuring safety. So this is a notable gap, which I think the examiner has purposely, disregarded when highlighting the vision, mission, and values. Because based on this shortcoming, the examiner is going to throw questions at you. So that is why I've included this question. So when developing this type of policy, a safety policy, we should not just focus on the car ranges. Instead, we should not just focus on each car range. Instead, we have to think about all our vehicles which we sell to our customers, and at the same time, we have to ensure safety and reliability when it comes to how we conduct our manufacturing operations. So safety and reliability concerning our manufacturing operations, as well as concerning when our cars are in use, should be upheld. If not, we are going to face negative repercussions in the future. Because if there's some type of a safety issue within our factory, our employees are going to get negatively impacted, and this leads to bad reputation, and our employees will sue us. This will lead to demotivation. All these negative elements can be gotten rid of if we implement appropriate safety practices within our manufacturing operations. Similarly, if we do not look at safety and reliability concerning the vehicles which are being used, if our customers face some type of an accident or safety issue, then they are going to sue us. This is going to bring bad publicity for us, and at the same time, this is going to impact our reputation adversely. And when we face all these issues, our share price will be impacted negatively. So would our revenues. So safety and reliability should be looked at considering both these angles, considering how we conduct our operations internally, and at the same time, the safety of our vehicles when they are in use. I hope I addressed your concern, Anne. And Sinadi is asking a question: is our sustainability really sustainable, as it basically is focusing on operations but not end of product life recycling? Then how can we pick Apple? I can't understand what you have mentioned, the final part of your query, but I can understand what you have, the type of information you have requested. So as I mentioned earlier, if you look at our sustainability report, it is not foolproof. So I've highlighted the strengths of our sustainability report as well as shortcomings, because as you have mentioned, you have mentioned the fact that we are not thinking in terms of end of life sustainability, which is true. So I've highlighted these issues in here, and I've also suggested recommendations to achieve better sustainability in the future. So if you watch our pre-scene analysis videos and gain access to our notated pre-scene, you will gain a clear understanding of the strengths of our sustainability report, as well as the weaknesses, as well as I've come up with recommendations to overcome each type of weakness. I hope I addressed your concern. Anything else, folks? So those of you who asked questions already, did I address all your concerns? Any doubts, any questions? So Anne is asking a question relating to a mock question in relation to a product recall. Would you just recall the 1,800 cars that you know there has been a fault highlighted in, or would you recall all cars in this range, as there could be faults in other batches than those identified? So when opting for a product recall, it depends on what the directors believe in. So, before opting for a product recall, what happens is usual practice is to recall the entire range. But if you look at a range, let's assume that we are thinking about the Scotch range. So the Scotch range comes in versions. So there will be a certain range which was introduced 2 years back compared to what we have introduced recently. So let's assume some type of an issue is faced concerning a previous batch. Then it makes sense to recall just the cars which were manufactured 2 years before, rather than recalling the entire range. Because whenever we are dealing with a product recall, what you need to remember is the fact that we have to bear a lot of costs, because we have to compensate customers, we might have to replace the vehicles, and at the same time, when we are recalling vehicles, there's reverse logistics and whatnot. All these things are going to be extremely expensive. So just because a certain product range or a certain batch of a certain product range faced some type of an issue, if we consider to recall the entire product range, it is going to be extremely costly for us. So that's where our R&D team comes into play. So, let's assume that a certain batch was impacted negatively. They will conduct tests focused on all the batches concerning concerning the product range which was impacted negatively. And if they figure out that only one single batch was impacted, it makes sense just to recall the concerned batch rather than recalling the entire range. However, if multiple batches were impacted, then it indicates the fact that we have gotten something wrong throughout our manufacturing process. Therefore, we have to recall the entire range. I hope I addressed your concern, Anne. And which mock are you referring to concerning the product recalls? If you can, indicate the mock number, then I can check what the requirement is, as well as what the unseen is all about. Okay, give me a second, please. All right, can you see my screen? I've shared section number 1 of mock exam 2. I hope you guys can see my screen. All right, great. So this is the question which you are referring to. Except from board meeting minutes, issues in Scotch Grand Deluxe range. Cewmlator has faced a massive setback in the past 2 weeks. Numerous owners of the recently released Scotch Grand Deluxe range have reported to recurring problems, sudden power loss during acceleration, and usually fast battery drainage. So I've specifically mentioned the fact that this issue is tied to the recently released Scotch Grand Deluxe range. So that's why I said that the same range comes in different batches according to the new technology available at the introductory period. So this totally new batch, yes, it's the Scotch Grand Deluxe range. When only one single batch is impacted negatively, there's absolutely no point of recalling the entire range. Rather than doing so, it makes sense to focus our attention towards the impacted batch only. So there were some problems, okay, and therefore more than 1,800 units across 3 key markets appear to be impacted, prompting widespread customer complaints via social media and whatnot. Okay, the board is concerned about the reputational fallout, and attention of regulators will impact us in multiple jurisdictions, and therefore the R&D director has been asked to provide an urgent update, and the board is currently assessing its option, including a potential voluntary recall to limit reputational and legal exposure. So if we opt for a voluntary recall, rather than recalling the entire Scotch Grand Deluxe range, we should only focus our attention towards the impacted batch, as I mentioned earlier. I hope I addressed your concern, and you're welcome. Anything else, folks? All right, folks, I hope I have addressed all your questions. I'm sorry, unfortunately, I've paused the recording halfway through and I forgot to switch it on. So, I addressed some more questions. The answers were not recorded, but that's totally fine. So I hope I addressed all your questions. And if you want to contact us, you can do it via our website, which is www.study@tcs.com. Visit our website and click on the contact button and drop us a message. Our admin staff will get in touch with you via email during office hours. And if you want to email us, you can do so via info@study@tcs.com. Or if you need instantaneous support, simply drop us a message via our WhatsApp number. And also, I urge you to follow us on our social media handles, especially YouTube and TikTok, because via YouTube, you'd gain access to the recorded versions of the weekly webinars and workshops. And also via TikTok, you'd gain access to a good pre-seen mind map. There are 6 videos in total. So in the upcoming 10 days, keep watching these TikToks over and over to keep yourself constantly reminded of what's highlighted within your pre-seen document. And also, if you are yet to read the blog post which we have developed focused on Cewmlator, I invite you to read it, which can be accessed via our blogs page. So having said that, it brings us to the end of this masterclass. I hope you gained something out of this session, and I invite you to join us next Saturday for our final workshop, in which I'm going to share last minute tips with you. If you're yet to start preparations, you still have 10 days. We shared a 10-day study plan with you. So I hope you will stick to it religiously in the upcoming 10 days, because if you work hard in the upcoming 10 days, you can say goodbye to CIMA. Okay, so put in all your effort, work hard in the upcoming 10 days in order to pass this examination. And if you are a person who have already started your prep, but if you are stuck, you can start right now. If you work extremely hard in the upcoming 10 days, you can pass this exam. So utilize your early mornings to learn theory and application, and utilize your evenings to conduct your revision by redeveloping answer plans. Even if you do not have time to attempt the 2 mocks which we recommended to attempt under exam conditions, which are mocks 3 and 5, that's totally fine. Focus your attention towards watching all the master classes and taking steps to redevelop answer plans after watching each master class. And towards the final 2 or 3 days, read through the answer plans of all 7 mock exams, which is the best way to remind yourself closer to the exam about how each conceptual element can be tested. And therefore, you'd also understand how to deal with application and how to structure your answers effectively. So work hard, do not give up. If you want access to our resources, the essential course is at a 50% discount. So invest right now and start your preparations as soon as possible. And one of you is asking a question. Nachiket is asking a question. Are these mind maps available in your dashboard or on YouTube? I hope you are referring to our answer plans. Yes, these answer plans are available and downloadable via our student dashboard. However, the answer plans are included only with the premium course. The answer plan of mock exam 1, the first 2 subtasks, covering the first 2 sections rather of mock exam 1, the answer plans can be downloaded via the exam platform, via our student dashboard rather, if you create a free user account. So I wish you the best of luck in the upcoming 10 days. Work hard, then you can pass this exam comfortably. So I'll see you guys next Saturday at 10 a.m. UK, in which I'm going to share last minute tips with you. So thank you for joining. I'll see you guys next Saturday.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Nick.